It's hot.
Very, very hot. Hey guys, welcome to the Weekly Drip, a show where two music nerds create weird and wacky hot sauce recipes based on our favorite songs. I'm your co-host Mike King.
What's happening, hot stuff? From Hot 100 Sauces, I'm Wyatt Dozier.
Be sure to catch up on our podcast, Getting Sauced, and check out the first part to this episode.
So, if you're new to the show, which at this point, of course you are, because this is the first episode, it's going to help a lot to actually check out the podcast itself, so that you can get an idea about why we chose the ingredients we did and what in the songs themselves inspired those ingredients.
Today's episode is based on last week's Getting Sauced podcast, Who Are You?, where co-host Wyatt Dozier and I broke down The Who's 1978 hit of the same title. Over the course of that episode, Wyatt and I decided to make some sauces that were high in heat, based with alcohol, and contained some ingredients that were unique to our individual backgrounds. Let's see how we took those ideas and turned them into hot sauce.
Let's get saucy.
Flavor notes.
So first things first, just because of the gruff nature of the vocals in Who Are You and also just the violent subject matter, we decided this was going to be a severely hot sauce. High temperature, high Scoville, and not necessarily super pleasant to the palate.
These are my absolute favorite pepper in the world. They're not the hottest pepper in the world, mind you, but they are absolutely delicious and they have quite a bit of heat. These are ghost peppers, and man, these are absolutely phenomenal. Very, very fresh. They're nice, full-bodied. They give a lot of flavor, a lot of heat right on the front end of your tongue. It's gonna just hit you right away. The second this sauce touches you, you're gonna know it. And then we're gonna round that flavor out with a nice, mellow habanero pepper. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a blend today, which is not usually my thing. I like to kind of stick to one pepper.
Every single one of these peppers are going in to the blender.
We got all these ingredients, why not add a couple more? So we're gonna do a little habanero. So after that initial shock of that super hot ghost pepper, we're gonna have the habanero just with that mellow burn in the back of your throat, just kind of reminding you that it's there, making you want to come back for more. So I think that's gonna be really nice. Maybe this will help bridge the gap between some of these crazy Chicago style ingredients.
I'm normally a huge proponent of simplicity when it comes to recipes, but we're trying to make something aggressive and harsh. We've got some Thai chilies here, we've got some habaneros, which I'm leaning on to provide most of the heat, as well as a myriad of Mexican chilies here that I'm hoping will provide some color and some depth to this as well. So we're really throwing just about everything in this sauce and seeing what sticks. These have actually been fermenting for a couple of weeks. There's some pressure that's built up in them, so I thought we could do a little bit of a jar burping, see if we can get some interesting sounds and reactions from some of these jars. So I'll start on this end with the Thai chilies. The habaneros. Moritos. Woo! And that's what you came to see. Next up we have the anchos. Okay, penultimately, the puyas. Ooh, okay, nice little the arbos. Okay. Ooh, this one's bubbling.
Do you hear that, folks? Beautiful.
I wish I had some Reapers or something like that. I know Mike does, so I gotta compete somehow.
We couldn't be talking about a song written by The Who about waking up in an alleyway in Soho without an alcoholic bass. What alcoholic bass would I use from the south side of Chicago other than Irish whiskey? Very excited. Cheers.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit and use red wine vinegar as the acid source. The last two ingredients that we discussed on the podcast, one, we thought that there needed to be some kind of New York reference, sort of homage to New York ingredients, so I'm gonna throw some tomato paste in here. I'm hoping that can provide some decent texture as well as a little bit of depth to the flavor. It'd be a nice nod to, the pizzeria scene of New York. And the final component with which we discussed was some kind of personal element. Anyone that knows me knows that I am obsessed with limes.
When I was thinking about a sauce that had ingredients that were special to me, the first thing that I thought of growing up on the south side of Chicago was a good old-fashioned Chicago-style hot dog. And I know what you're thinking. Mike, Chicago-style hot dog ingredients would make a terrible hot sauce. and you're probably right. But we're gonna try it anyways. So here we go. First ingredient to any hot dog, very important, yellow mustard. Very simple. This is gonna give a nice little vinegary kind of kick to it, a little tanginess. I think it's gonna go well. And then we've got our sweet relish. Now, I currently don't live in Chicago. This kind of nasty, dark green color. That's not what you want to see in a Chicago style hot dog. We can't get the real shit up here, unfortunately. So we're dealing with what we can. Still gonna get the right flavors in here. Diced onion. Absolutely the best part of a Chicago style hot dog. It gives a great flavor, great little crunch to it as well. I think it goes well with any hot sauce. Onion is just a great basil flavor that you get in on the very, very bottom level. Fresh cucumber, maybe give it a nice refreshing flavor. The real kicker, we got our sport peppers. These son of a guns are absolutely delicious. They're not very hot. They're not gonna add a whole lot of spice to our dish, but they are very zesty, very tangy, very delicious. They're gonna add just a phenomenal, my mouth's watering right now when I'm talking about it. Very important part to any Chicago style hot dog is the celery salt. This stuff is incredibly strong. A little bit goes a long way. This is really the make or break point of our sauce today, so that's kind of the danger zone. Of course, one thing out of Chicago area people will notice right away that I don't have up here is ketchup. And I know that when we were talking on the podcast last week, if you listened in, and I recommend you do, we talked about maybe adding a tomato base to this hot sauce, but fuck that, because there should never, ever, ever be ketchup on a hot dog. And anybody in the city of Chicago who disagrees with me should not be able to live in Chicago anymore. And most people would agree with me there.
Cooking some peppers. I didn't do a very good job of cleaning off my stovetop.
Something Wyatt talked about on the podcast last week was that when you are making a hot sauce, sometimes it's a good idea to take the peppers, separate the seeds from the peppers, because the seeds can add a little bit too much heat and take away from the flavor content that you can have in your sauce. But I say fuck that. I like the heat.
Look at this. This sauce. There's a fire engine going by right now. Because this sauce is going to be so hot.
All right, we're back here ready to blend up our Chicago style hot dog sauce. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and add in our ghost peppers and our habaneros with just a little bit of whiskey that is left in that didn't quite cook off. You just let those in long enough to get them all softened up so it's easier for them to blend up. Get a good flavor. I didn't cook any of the other ingredients with it because I thought it would be just a little bit better to leave them nice and fresh in there. So we're gonna go ahead and just toss those in. We've got our sport peppers. It's gonna make quite a bit of sauce here today. We're gonna see, I'm not sure how much of the, let's toss it all. And we got our cucumbers and onions. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Relish, mustard. We're just gonna do this kind of to taste. We're not really gonna measure it. And celery salt, kind of doing the same thing. And a little bit goes a long way on that. Should make for a pretty nasty color, but hopefully not a nasty flavor.
It's become apparent that there's not nearly enough liquid in here. I'm gonna throw some water in. Oh, it smells so good. Let's get some water. I take the same policy in cooking with beer, you know, a little bit for the food, a little bit for the chef. Stay hydrated out there, people.
All right, and we are ready for the first taste of the Getting Sauced Weekly Drip Who Are You Chicago Style Hot Dog Hot Sauce.
The Who inspired hot sauce. Who Are You? The tomatoey, vinegary, multi-pepper extravaganza.
It smells like a Chicago style hot dog. Don't really smell too much heat. It's got a pukey green and yellow color with some orange flecks. Here we go.
So I know we talked about making this like really brash and harsh. That is pretty good. Like,
very, very hot. Zesty. Very, very, very hot.
I mean, it is really hot, don't get me wrong. Not unbearably so.
Tastes like a Chicago style hot dog. Just enough celery salt. Sport peppers are absolutely delicious. Mustard, just enough. This is shockingly good.
Okay, this is actually great. I don't know if I succeeded in the prompt of making something really brash and abrasive, but it's hot and it's red. All the things that I talked about, I was just expecting something less palatable.
Shockingly good.
Alright, I'm not trying to brag on my own thing here. This is not bad. I would put this on food.
I cannot believe how well that turned out. Take a look at how weird of a color that is. Very delicious.
That's delightful. I'm really surprised here, y'all. If I were to try and make this at a larger scale, I might simplify pepper lineup a little bit for the sake of manufacturing simplicity, but as it stands right now, not bad. Not bad at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Does this recipe, of all the things that we find out here, does that sound like something you want to try? You know, who's you going with here? I wish you could taste this. So, see us next time on the Weekly Drip.
Put a cap on it. Put a cap on it.
What kind of material is this? You hear that? We're all supposed to do this? No. See, this feels like a normal thickness for material. This, I thought this was plastic almost, but it's like, it's a super, super cheap spoon. What? You ever heard a spoon ding like that? These are music nerd comments. Anyway.